My name is Jason Kristofer, and this is By Default.
So what's the number one way to get people interested in your brand?
The number one way to get people interested in your brand. I'm gonna go immediately to what I think is the greatest way outside of being social media platforms, because I think that's where everybody runs to immediately. From my experience, the best route is kind of that pop the trunk, guerrilla style, creative thinking. Example, this company called Horse and Boots, which is in Santa Monica, actually moving to Venice. It is their flagship. It started off, my dear friend, Rob and myself, we're both actors. If you know anything about actors, the income is kind of like this, and that's very anxiety provoking. But we were kind of used to it. We were also like late 20s at the time. Yeah, so we were at the park. He was stressed out because he had a baby on the way. It was his first baby, his first kid. And I said to him, because he's got a sick, insane style, he would buy, it still probably does today, actually makes his own sunglasses now, and they're amazing. But he would buy fucking glasses that you get at like a garage sale, and he'd buy it for a different reason. He might buy it because he liked the hardware on it. He might buy it because he liked the lens on it. He might buy it because he likes the arms on it, or whatever it was. He just, there was something about it that he liked, and then he would take that apart, make it, put that hardware on this sunglass, and then take these lenses and go get them dipped with whatever money he had, and have his own lenses made. It'd be like these custom sick glasses. But he'd do that with everything. He'd always come by with like and it was always so sick looking on him. But anyway, so he had a great fashion sense. So I said to him, Rob, why don't you you got to get into that space. You got to get in that. You're too creative with your clothing. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, in your accessories. And now I personally love jewelry. So I was like, let's start a jewelry line, let's start a jewelry brand. Let's start a company. And we immediately, from wherever we were sitting in Roxbury Park, went up to my apartment, small little apartment, and I had clay. So I started to mold out of clay a ring design. That's this. We don't know I don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just going like, it'd be great if it looked like this. We come up with a name, a Horse and Boots, and then, and now what? So then we take the ring down to this place in Culver City. It's probably still there. They were called Design Casters, and mom and pop shop, but like literally mom and pop. It was like a mom and there's a pop there. And we walked in and we, gave them a piece of clay. They're like, what the fuck is this? And we're like, it's a ring, we want to make it. We don't know nothing about nothing when it comes to this, but you gotta what do we do? And they're like, well, she's, this small lady. She's like, I think we could probably do something. Well, I'll see if I can make a cast out, a mold. And so she did. She made a mold, and then she poured gold, and we both together scrapped together whatever came to like $523 or something at the end of the day. That's the gold and the labor and everything in the mold. At the time, I don't know what gold is now, but I'm sure it's much more. But anyway, and then she poured it, she made it. Here it is. This is that first initial ring. This was years ago, and they're killing it today. But here's how we did it. After we had the ring, we had to now do something. What are we gonna do? So what we did is we had to think about the resources that we have. And that's what I would urge everyone to do. Think about the resources you have and get fucking creative with it. Like, really think about, what can we do with the people that I do have? So we had a photographer friend. He was really actually at the top of his game, shooting A-list talent. Who are you shooting? Who's coming up? And he's like, well, I'm shooting Joaquin Phoenix. And we're like, do you think you can get this on Joaquin if this fits him? Can you find out his ring size? Can you get this on him? He's like, he owed us a favor too at the time, because we had done his website, like we just, his business cards, whatever. We're designers. I'm a designer, so I've done like a lot of that kind of stuff. So he already owed me one. He's like, yeah, I'll get it on Joaquin. Got it on Joaquin, and then sent us the shot, and then he was shooting Snoop. We got it on Snoop, and there you go. And then we took those. We walked into Barney's, walked into Fred Siegel, put it down on the table, and tell him, we don't know anything about it. We learned. He said, who's the buyer? Can we make an appointment? We wanted to speak to him. We have the product we think you'd be interested in. And we go in, and then we act like, how do you not know who we are? Here's a picture of Joaquin. Here's a picture of Snoop, and then they FOMO, right? Because they're supposed to be the top houses, and they're supposed to know fucking everything. And then so then they're like, yeah, well absolutely, we'll take. And then they put the order in, and then now we got to come up with the money and make it happen. So that's what we did. And today, They're absolutely, there's not, there, you couldn't name somebody that they don't have that ring on at this point. They have, or necklaces, or, I mean, they're killing it. That would be the best piece of advice. You do something creative with the resources you do have. I think that's even more effective than social media. Social media is great, obviously, but it's even more effective. You get something in brick and mortar, it's kind of a next level.
The biggest thing you see brands do
Yeah.
that destroy their audience, that destroy their marketing.
The biggest things that brands do that destroy their marketing. Okay, well, it kind of depends on what the purpose of the brand was, but I can give you another example. Von Dutch came to me to resuscitate their brand. So I'll tell you exactly where and it didn't work. And not because of any idea, which is fine if it was, but it's not because of the idea that I had put forward to them to resuscitate their brand. They needed to embrace humility, and they needed to kind of publicly with humility, they need to kind of just say, okay, we fucked up, right? And they got to find a way of doing that creatively, visually on their billboards that took up space at the time. But the way that they overexposed themselves. So that's usually the biggest way that they fuck it up, or there's no level of real consistency and nobody can really feel the brand. So there's a lot of ways you can fuck it up. And one of them, which is pretty common, is you never really had a brand anyway. You never really resonated with the audience, with people, and that's never getting a foothold. But if you already had, if the question is that you already had, your claws in, and people really trusted that brand, then to fuck it up, it would have to be something like, oh, you're overly exposed. You went kind of like you took the Target approach when you're not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you're kind of a luxury brand, you don't want to show up at Target. The moment you do, it's kind of like, oh, okay, now we know, kind of you're overexposed. You see that like with some brands that I would think are kind of on the lower end of luxury brands, which would be like Michael Kors, something in there, and where it's fine, but he's also a TJ Maxx. You don't want to be a TJ Maxx, not if you're like trying, you don't see Gucci at TJ Maxx.
So if you were to start a new company today,
Yeah.
what's the first thing brand-wise you do?
The first thing I would do brand-wise, after kind of going through the effort of after going through the logo, the naming, and that process, just make sure you have some digital presence immediately. That's going to be your space, obviously. You need to be able to point. That's where you start to explore the brand. That's where, because it's digital, it's so fantastic, because you can obviously kind of experiment there and see what kind of resonates. And I think that's a great place. So that's where I would start. I would start just that. Do the basics. Get that logo. Get your domain name locked in. Figure out kind of like, don't get caught up on your colors and your brand guide, and I need a brand guide, and my colors need to be locked in. They don't until later. You just need to evolve. Let it kind of feel it out. I find that when I work with companies, especially in the startup stage, it's really nice to go with them for that first 1 to 3 years, and really be with them for 1 to 3 years, because in that 1 to 3 years is where you learn a lot about kind of really the space that your brand is, or the brand that you're starting to create is resonating with. You might think that, oh, it's really kind of in the medical space, and it turns out not. It's really in the performance space. So that kind of thing. So I would say that you just start off in just your basic website and that kind of thing, and use that as kind of like your testing grounds, your sandbox for a little bit.
What's something everyone could be doing better brand-wise today?
Connecting. I think everybody could be doing, they could be doing a better job at connecting. It's usually that's the fault. If you're having trouble with your brand, it's just you're not connecting. And it's either you're not connecting because you're just not, a lot of people are too scared to connect. It's not really the connection that they're scared of. They're scared of the commitment of okay, this is who we are. Okay, this is our voice. Okay, this is our message. Okay, this is what we're trying to communicate. Okay, and they feel like they're locked in when they start going down that path. And to some degree you are, because you want to stay in that consistency. But there's a moment there that's really crucial that you can kind of explore. It goes back to that other kind of things.
What would you tell a young person that's trying to start a company?
I would say just make sure that the company that the company that whatever it is, if it's a service, if it's a product, no matter what it is, is it for the masses, is it for a niche, no matter what it is, I would say make sure that you love this vertical that you're in, this space that you're in. Make sure that you love it, because you're going to be in it for a good minute. You're going to be eating it, drinking it, waking up with it, going to sleep with it. It's going to be your own thing. And if you're not prepared for that, then maybe don't do that right now. But if you're prepared for that, you're like, no, I really want that. I want that. Then, go get it then. And just make sure that you love this, whatever this is, service. You love this product. You love this thing. You want to make sure. Don't get, there's discouragement all along the way. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to see a product that you thought you were the only one, and out here comes this fucking asshole. And then theirs looks a little better than mine. Good. Well, then go raise the bar above that. Get better. Keep doing it better.
What's something that media has changed about branding?
What is something media has changed about branding? Oh, the delivery. Today you can deliver to the masses. So the delivery of your brand and your message, and because it's kind of like that digital space, you can explore that. You can send out a message to this group. You can send out a message to this group. Before you could do that too, I'm sure. Like magazines, right? People buying this, Sports Illustrated. This certain type of person versus the person buying Vogue. So you could, you could still separate your audiences, but that's a whole different thing. Here, it's like what the cost is nothing to do that. You can start up your own social media space, your own channel on whatever platform of your choice, or all the platforms, and you can, blast this new campaign you just, did, this new photo, this new image, this new message, this new, so that's a huge game changer. Your voice, it's equal grounds for the most part. It's equal grounds. So you can speak with the big boys too, and speak like one of them too.
With the rise in short form content recently, do you think luxury brands should be getting on that, or is it kind of considered cheap?
No. I think absolutely, 100%. I can see it. Yeah, of course. I mean, the difference is that kind of UGC content, that user generated content. No, they probably wouldn't play in that space so much. They literally let users generate their own content, but of the Chanel bag that they got, or the whatever, and let them just do that thing on their own. That's fine. That'll always just be there. But no, they have no reason to. But I think that they could absolutely play in that space. I'm not sure if there are any playing in that space, but 100%. If your ad, it's like a Super Bowl ad. If your ad is either aesthetically so beautiful and mesmerizing that you're gonna people are gonna stop to look at it because it's so dope, or it's got that logo that and love, the algorithm's smart enough to know that you like this type of thing and that you like this brand, serves it to those people, and then they'll see it. So yeah, I think that is a good space for them, even in the short forms. I think 100% can see a lot of upside and benefits to that. 100%. Yeah, it's not cheap. It's good.
And just to end this off, is there anything you want to tell the audience?
Anything I want to tell the audience? Yeah, I would say, look, you go around this planet one time. So, supposedly. So, think about that, and think about the actual time that you do have, and realize you don't have any. So just get going and don't overthink shit. Just go and do it, and put your everything into it, 100% behind it.